Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session on Python programming. We're discussing iterative constructs in Python. In the last session, we looked at two very interesting functions. One was enumerate, other was zip. And we also explored a module called as iterative tools. In addition to that, I had also asked you to go through the fundamental tutorial of NumPy. How many of you seen NumPy? Please put a tick if you have covered up NumPy, if you've seen that fundamental tutorial of NumPy. Ashish and Harsh and Rohit. That's a very poor number. Huh? It is expected that whatever I share with you, you will have to explore those things so that you have an idea as to what all features or facilities are available with us. Otherwise, I tell you, you will end up unnecessarily writing code for certain things for which there is a ready-made support available in Python. Now, if you really don't want that thing to happen, you need to spend in time exploring the modules that I'm asking you to explore. And believe me, I'm not asking you to explore modules unnecessarily. These are the ones which are very widely used, very popular in the market. As a Python programmer, it is expected out of you to have idea about this. So it is expected that you should know about NumPy, SciPy. I'll be telling you about SciPy also when the right time arises. But NumPy, at least the fundamental tutorial, you should have covered up so that you could have got an understanding. Array, ND array kya hai? Okay, how to use this array? How extensively the support for arrays have been provided in Python. So those who haven't done it, I request once again, I'm sharing the link once again with you all. Make sure that you visit NumPy. You can go to the site called as numpy.org, and you could go through the tutorial which is there. At least the beginners one. Quick start tutorial. This is the one I had told you, yes or no? No, I had asked NumPy fundamentals. This is the one that I told you.
Yes.
Okay, so those others have, at least those who haven't done it, I'm sharing the link once again with all of you. Make sure that you go through this particular tutorial. It could be a great help to you. You'll have understanding as to, and plus we have seen how to install NumPy. And that I demonstrated in the classroom itself. So, and in case if you missed out, numpy.org, there itself you'll find information as to how to install NumPy. So first install NumPy and then start exploring NumPy. Now, it's time for us to take some exercises today. We have been exploring the iterative constructs. Now that we have seen the for loop, the while loop, all the loops we have seen, it's time for us to do some exercises. So today what we'll do is, we will explore one or two more methods, one more method probably from iteration tool, which we should be aware of, that is called as cycle. Because it's an interesting way, it allows you to access the elements which are available. Now let me open up iteration tool module for you so that you will have an understanding as to what I'm talking about. How many of you explored iteration tool module? We go to python.org, go to documentation, we go to Python doc, and we are looking at ITER, iteration tool. So when it comes to iteration tool, here we are. Functions creating iterators for efficient looping. So it's all about looping. Huh? One very interesting method is cycle. So even before I go ahead with cycle, let me first take an example. Suppose you have a list of some items. It could be a list of some stationery items, list of books. It could be a list of numbers. It could be anything. Let's say it is list of student names. I have a name list. And there are some names which are there. Rajesh, Suresh, Jayesh, Nimesh. So these are some names. And if I have to cycle through this list, what do? It would be wrong on our part to even think about using while loop. While for loop iterates through the collection, name list a collection of names. So it automatically iterates. It's an automatic loop. So we'll use for loop to iterate over. So I'll say for name in name list. That's it. And whatever name we would like to print, we'll just say hi. We're going to greet that fellow. Hi, comma, name. So that will do our work. So for loop is an automatic loop. It will automatically iterate over all the elements. So it will start with hi Rajesh, say like hi Nimesh tak. It will print all the names. Let's save this particular file first. I'll say for, and what we are doing right now with for is I'm going to give an example of chain. Here I go. Let me run this particular code for you. It says hi Rajesh, hi Suresh, hi Jayesh, hi Nimesh. Fine. So it has cycled through those elements. It has visited every element which is present inside this particular collection. So what does chain do? When you chain, it makes an iterator. What do you say? Makes an iterator returning elements from the iterable and saving a copy of each. When iterable is exhausted, returns element from the saved copy, repeats indefinitely. That means it will indefinitely, suppose if I create this, it will indefinitely iterate over all the elements which are present inside that particular collection. So let's try and use this concept. So if I say now here, for name in cycle name list, and here I'm just going to print a message. Using cycle, so you understand that this is a second example. And here I go. I say print hi name. So when I'm saying cycle, it generates an error. So we'll have to import it. So let's import it. I'll say from iteration tools, import cycle. That's one thing. Then we also have something that will enable you to suspend the operation for some time. So let's look at time module. So if you look at time module in Python, do we have anything that will suspend the time for us? We have ASCII time, we have GLED clock, okay, we have C time, okay, there are a lot of things regarding time, plus interesting method is sleep. So we're going to sleep for some milliseconds. So I'm going to say import time. So if I import time, from time I can take sleep. So what I'm going to do is, after printing every name, I'm going to suspend it for some time. So I'll say time dot sleep. I'm going to sleep for 2 seconds. So slowly and slowly the names will get printed one after another. So we'll get a chance to review what's happening. Let's run. So look at using cycle. Pehle hi Rajesh, 2 seconds ke baad hi Suresh, then Jayesh, then Nimesh, and then again Rajesh, again Suresh. So it's just repeating again and again those names indefinitely. So it will keep on cycling through those iterable over a period again and again. And we know how to break a loop. We know if I have to terminate the loop, there is a construct called as break. So what we'll do is, after say, suppose there are 1, 2, 3, 4 items, correct? What is the list length? So we want to print that list 3 times, and then we'd like to stop, whatever number of times. So here I say what number of times I would like to print. So I say times is equal to length of name list. Length of name list, yes, into 4. Yes, please.
Can't we use time dot sleep in first line number 12 for loop?
We can use if you really want to suspend the operation. Here I did that because here anyway it was going to print it, access this list only once. Here it was going to access the list multiple times. So just to have that delay, I added sleep. Otherwise, sleep had no such significance.
Yes, yes,
It was just to add delay.
yes.
So here we have taken times 3 times. So what I'm going to do is after 3 iterations, I would like to stop. So what I'll do is I'll say if I'll have a counter over here now. So suppose if I have a counter is equal to 1, and I would like to stop after 3 iterations, I'll say if counter mod 3 equal to 0. If that is the case, I'm going to say print a blank line. I'm going to have another condition if counter equal to times, then I'm going to break. That means suppose this is 4, 4 is a 12. So if counter is equal to 12, we will break. Break will terminate the loop. If counter is equal to 3, it will just print a blank line so that we'll get to see array 1 passes over, second part passes over, and so on.
Sir,
Yes, please.
on line 22, we can write pass as well.
No, line
22.
22 we cannot write pass because I want to print a blank line.
Okay.
So I want to have a blank line. Print without any parameter prints a blank line because the default
Yes.
value for end is /n.
Yes.
So print has one parameter called as end. So it is as good as saying end is equal to /n. Okay, so we wanted to print a blank line after printing those 4 names. So sorry, I should say mod 4. After printing those 4 names, 1 pass, it should this thing. And once it has finished iterating 3 times, it should stop. So let's run this particular code and see what's happening. Here we go. First 4 have got printed. Now Rajesh, Suresh, Jayesh, Nimesh. Then Rajesh, Suresh, Jayesh, Nimesh. Oh, I forgot to increment the value of counter. It will become infinite loop. It will not stop because counter is 1 and counter is always 1. It is our duty to make sure that counter is incremented. So let's increment counter, saying counter is equal to counter plus 1. Otherwise, value of counter will not get incremented. Now we have term incremented group. So 4 times it has got printed. Now look at this. Jayesh, Nimesh, Suresh, this one blank line. Rajesh, Suresh, Jayesh, Nimesh, one blank line. Again, Rajesh, Suresh, Jayesh, Nimesh, and the program stops. So it has printed this thing 3 times using cycle. Why? Because I said length of name list, that is 4. 4 into 3 is 12. Counter is 1. It will cycle through all the names. When you have cycled the 4 names, I'm saying print a blank line. When counter becomes 12, we are saying break. And break terminates the for loop. So break is a construct that we use over here to terminate the loop. While loop, for loop, all of them can be terminated. But the interesting thing was a function called as cycle. Again, this is not a very good way of writing it. We should have rather said only import iteration tool. And we could have said, you could have said import iteration tool as ITR if you want. Give a short name to it, suppose. Import iteration tool as ITR. Or keep it iteration tools itself, import iteration tools. And here you could say iteration tools.cycle. So we know where is this iteration cycle coming from. So this cycle is coming from iteration tool. Sleep is coming from module called as time. So we are aware as to where these things are coming from. So this is a better way to import rather than using the shortcut method. But this is how we could use cycle. So what is cycle doing? Cycle is iterating over the collection indefinitely. That means after it has finished cycling or visiting every element inside this collection, it revisits the first one, then again the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one, and so on. So that is how it will work. So that was all about cycle. As the name says cycle, it will cycle through indefinitely over the elements which are present in any collection. Now, right now we have list. You could have had any collection which is ordered, and you could have just kept on iterating over all the elements. So have you understood this? Quick feedback. I'm sharing this file with all of you. संतनु कहाँ थे इतने दिन? So that was about iteration tool.cycle. Okay. So I again tell you, request you go through this module called as iteration tool. It is a fantastic module to have, to know. Okay, you love the kind of methods which are available here. I know some of these methods will be difficult for you to understand, but I still advise you to go through all of them. Okay, because they are useful. And it's good to know about those methods. So if you know about those methods, you'll feel good. Okay, because it will enable you to do something, certain operations for which you will unnecessarily go ahead writing a very lengthy loop. And everything can be avoided by using this particular concept. So go through them and you'll feel happy. Especially there are some methods like accumulate. So those kind of methods are fantastic. Chain is a simpler one that we have seen. Accumulate, combinations. These are the kind of methods that one should go through. The permutation. Okay. So the permutation combinations. So those are the ones that you should look into. And then there is another one that is called as count. Okay. So those are the methods I would strongly recommend for you all to go through it. So take time out and explore iteration tool. You'll find some very interesting methods which are available. Okay. Now that you understood this, let's go ahead with a problem statement. And you all are going to solve this particular problem statement. So let me come up with a statement for you all. Just give me a second. Take down the question and go ahead solving it. We have already solved a problem for checking we have already know how to check whether given number is prime or not. So what I want you to do is I want to write a program that will print the first n prime numbers. Okay, and we're going to start with only positive numbers. So I write a program to print first n prime numbers. So user says 5, I want you to print the first 5 prime numbers. User says 100, I would like you to print the 100 prime numbers. So we're going to print the first n prime numbers. So we'll break out into rooms and I expect you to solve this example. First n prime numbers, we already know how to solve a prime number. Check. Now first n prime numbers is what you will solve. So I'm giving all of you to share permission to share the window and we'll break out into rooms. And I want all of you to discuss while you go ahead solving these examples. So rooms are open. Please join the rooms and keep your videos on and go ahead solving this example. Ashish, Sarthak, Rutuja, join. Rutuja and Sarthak, join the meeting, join the room, please. Rutuja and Sarthak, join the room, please. Sarthak, join the room, please. Sarthak, are you there? Sarthak, are you there? Sarthak, if you're coming to explore the session, and if you're not going to join or listen to what is happening, how will you understand? Sarthak, you need to join. Submit whatever solutions you have done. Let us take it for discussion. Come on, submit both the teams. Come on, submit your solutions, all of you. I'm waiting. Whatever has been written, please submit. I have received one file. How about the next one? टीम 2 का फाइल आ गया है मेरे पास. टीम 1 का फाइल कहाँ है? Okay, let's discuss whichever file we have received. The other team probably is not interested in sharing their file. So be it. Here. So let's see what team 2 has were up to. Import math, import sys, from typing import final. So all the imports are right. Number of prime numbers to be printed. Okay. Okay. So it is just a counter that will count the prime numbers. So I'll call it as prime counter. Okay, so it's going to count the prime numbers. So I'll call it as prime counter. It's my prime counter. So enter the number of prime numbers you want. Okay. So we have accepted it, converted to an integer. How come you know what he has entered is all integers? So you forgot the validations, the first basic things that you need to do. The moment this has, and why have you left spaces everywhere? Let's start. The first thing that should have been done is the validation should have been done. So prime card input, enter the number of prime numbers you want. We'll have to do the validation, checking whether all the values, whatever you have entered is all digits or not. So I'll say if prime underscore counter dot is digit. If not digits, will print an error message. With the enter only positive number without sign. And we'll stop. You have imported sys. For what reason was sys imported? So yes, sys.exit. So that is the first validation. Now that you have
Instead
done
of
this,
sys.exit, can we do continue there?
oh,
So then it will again.
Listen, continue is a construct that can be used only inside loop. And here, if is not a loop. So continue will not be allowed to be used over here. Otherwise, you'll have to put this entire thing into a loop and then say continue.
Yes, I'm saying if we put it in a while loop.
In while loop, you can say continue. You cannot say continue. So in that case, you'll be forcing the user to enter the right value. So if user inputs the wrong value, you'll have to force the user कि सही value डाल दो. So this was the basic validation. Assuming that user has input a number and it's in decimal format, suppose. So I'll say prime counter is equal to int of, and you could very well use the validation that we had done for negative and positive numbers that we had seen yesterday. So here we have got the prime counter. How many prime numbers you would like to have? Actually, this name cannot be prime counter because this is total number of total prime numbers. Okay. Or prime numbers. How many prime numbers you would like to have? And prime counter is something that we'll have to check how many prime numbers have been printed so far. But this is also okay because I'll tell you, while count less than prime counter, suppose somebody says 5 numbers, so I can use a descending for while loop as well. So I say count is equal to 0, I equal to 2. Okay, so I आपका number है. That's a number is equal to 2. Number is equal to flag is equal to false. Array, common mistakes. F capital, flag is equal to false. And we aren't using this, so let's get rid of it. So for counter is equal to 0, I have been telling before and after the operator always use spaces. And here I'll use a descending loop, right? I'll say while counter greater than equal to or greater than 1 means if user enters 3 prime numbers, so better 3, 2, and 1 of them will stop. That means every time instead of incrementing the value, I'll decrement the value. I can count as 1, 2, 3, 4, or I can count as 4, 3, 2, 1 also. आपको उतने prime numbers चाहिए बस, that's the matter. So while prime counter greater than 1, but the first prime number is already known. You don't really have to check it. So if 2 is the first prime number, you could have directly gone ahead printing. So here we are saying while prime counter greater than 1. So 1 is greater than 1 है क्या नहीं? That's a big question. Here समझो greater than equal to 1 लिखा हमने for a moment. And we'll check whether it's a prime number or not. So flag is equal to true. So rather I should rather say flag equal to false जो लिखा है वही अंदर चाहिए हमें. Flag initially is false, but what is this flag indicating? Is the number prime? Is number prime? Now what number are we talking about? This number, is it prime or not? Initially we have taken this variable as false. So we take a counter. I'll say while counter in the range of I int I raised to 0.5. But if you had to do that, why did we import math? You should making life so difficult to understand. You could just say math.sqrt of the number plus 1. So what is the number? We'll find the square root of the number. Count in the range of 2 to square root of that particular number. 1 से तो कोई mod लेके कोई फायदा नहीं है. I mod j. Nobody in the world will understand what you're trying to do. So your number that we're trying to check whether it's prime or not, mod your counter, if that is equal to 0, then the number is not prime. You don't have to even set that flag to false because the flag is already, each prime number is already set to false. We'll break and we'll come out of this while loop for loop. When we come out of this loop, we'll check if flag. That's not the best way to write. I'll say is number prime equal to true. अगर number prime है, ये true है. So here probably I'll say true. And if I don't get 1, I'll say false. Is number prime equal to false? If you find a factor, so number mod counter is equal to 0 means found a factor. Found a factor for what? For this number, we have found the factor. So if you found a factor, we'll say is number prime is equal to false and we break. Break will take you out of this for loop. And here, if the number is prime, only then we'll print the prime number is The prime number is comma number. So we have found the prime number. Yeah, x equal to x plus 1, y equal to y plus 1. How will you understand what that x and y is? Here, if a prime number is found, only then will we decrement the value of prime counter. A prime counter will decrement because we are counting in the reverse order. Will decrement only if the prime number is found. Irrespective whether a prime number is found or not, we have to move to the next number. And we have to check whether the next number is prime or not. So to check whether the next number is prime or not, we'll say number is equal to number plus 1. Let's check this. So here we have done validation to check whether the entered number is in digits or not. Next, what is the number that if it is proper, if it is invalid, then we'll terminate the program. Otherwise, I'll convert that number to a prime, to an integer, get the prime counter. How many prime numbers you would like to have? 4, 5, whatever it is. We have taken counter as 0, okay, which we don't need actually in this case. We have taken initial number as 2. So 2 will be the first number that will check whether it's prime or not. We'll say prime counter greater than equal to 1. Yeah, it is greater than equal to 1. Yeah, greater than 1. Let's check down whether 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, let's say greater than equal to 1. What happens? Is prime number we initially set to 2. This is a number that we're going to check whether it's prime or not. Then we say counter in the range of 2 to square root of 2. Now 2 to square root of 2 will be less than 2. And 2 to that particular range, that will give an empty range. So we come out of this for loop. Number true hai kya? Is prime number true hai kya? Yes. So we say 2 is a prime number, prime counter minus 1. Ek number mil gaya, number now becomes 3. Then we'll check whether 3 is in that range of 2 to square root of 3. That's again false. We come out. Prime number ka value is prime number true hi hai abhi tak? Yeah, the prime number is 3 print karega. It will print the prime number is 3. Prime counter has been decremented. Number is equal to number plus 1, that becomes 4. 4 in the range of a counter in the range of 2 to square root of 4. 2 to 2. 2 plus 1, that is 3, it says. Okay. 2 to 3, because in range function, the upper limit is not inclusive. And since square root may give you a number in fraction, we can convert this in integer. So we take square root of the number and then plus 1 and we convert into an integer. So that would be better. So if I get 2, so it will be 2 to 2. For counter in the range 2 to 2, yes. 4 mod 2 equal to 0 hai kya? Haan, is prime number false ho jayega, break. Break will take you out of the number. Is prime number is true, false hai, number is equal to number plus 1. So let's see whether it works right. Let's run this particular code. So we have been asked a question, how many prime numbers you want? मैंने कहा अभी 5 prime number चाहिए. So it says float object cannot be interpreted as integer. I already converted it into an integer. Have I missed out some brackets? Float object 2 to square root of number plus 1. I haven't done that. We have made the change in the program. Let's run the code once again. How many prime numbers I want? I want 5. It says 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. We got the first 5 numbers. I run this particular program. How many prime numbers you would like to have? I want to have the first 10 prime numbers. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29. So it's working right. Let's say first 20 prime numbers, just to be extra sure that these all are prime numbers. Look at that, 53, 47, 43, 37, 31, 29. This is perfect. So here we have used 2 different loops. The outer loop is a while loop. The inner loop is for loop. Why is it so? Because outer loop should get executed how many times we really don't know. You may say it's a prime counter number of times. Prime counter, total number of prime numbers that have been given to us is like 5. So it should run 5 times. That's not the case. We do not know when the 5th prime number will come. When will the 5th prime number come? 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth prime number is 11. So we don't know how many iterations we have to perform to get the fifth prime number, because to reach till 11, we have performed 10 iterations. That means 3 check kiya, 4 check kiya, 5 check kiya, 6 check kiya, 7 check kiya, 8 check kiya, 9 check kiya, 10 check kiya, 11 check kiya. After that, we got 5 prime numbers. So every time we get a prime number, prime counter को we are decrementing by 1. यानी 1 हो गया, 2 हो गया, 3 हो गया, 4 हो गए. यानी 5 है तो 5 हो गया, 3 हो गया, 4 हो गया, 3 हो गया, 2 हो गया, 0 हो गया, बाहर आ गए. Let's check, are we printing one extra prime number or what? So if I say first 5 prime numbers, we want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly first 5 prime numbers I got printed. So here we take this counter, we are counting in the reverse order. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is what we are counting. Each prime number we have set to values 2. Here we are using for loop because we know how many iterations are to be performed over here. Let's say your number ka value comes out to be 12. Yeah, say 36. Yeah, 39. So we say counter in the range of 2 to square root of 39. Square root of 39 will be 6 point something. 6, 9. How much? How much will be square root of 39?
6 point something.
6 point something. So if it's 6 point something plus 1, that becomes 7 point something. We convert to into integer, so you get only 7. So for counter in the range of 2 to 7 कहेंगे तो 2 to 6 चलेगा वो. Square root of the number तक ही जाना है आपको. And then is a number mod counter value 2 है for the first time. The number is 39. 39 mod 2 equal to 0 है क्या? नहीं. 39 mod 3 equal to 0 है क्या? 4 equal to 0 है क्या? 5 equal to 0 है क्या? करते 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 will come till 6. 6 तक कोई भी नंबर ने उसे डिवाइड नहीं कर लिया, तो in that case number prime का वैल्यू ट्रू ही रहेगा. So we come here, is it true? The number is prime and prime counter 1 से decrement करेंगे so that we have found the prime number, and this is always to be incremented whether a prime number is found or not found. ये अगला वाला number. That means first we check for 2, then for 3. Just for you to understand, here I'll write a statement. Just for your understanding, I'll write a statement checking if number, what is the number, is prime. तो हर बार हम लोग एक नंबर कोई भी है वो प्राइम है कि नहीं चेक करेंगे. So watch it. How many prime numbers you would like to have? I want the first 10 prime numbers. So watch it. क्या क्या कर रहा है ये? Checking if 2 is prime, the prime number is 2. Checking if 3 is prime number is 3. Checking if 4 is prime, 5 is prime, नहीं है. Prime number is 5. Checking 6 is prime, no. Checking 7 is prime, 7 is prime. Okay, then 8 check किया, 9 check किया, 10 check किया, 11 is prime. 12 check किया, 14 check किया, 15 check किया, 16 check किया, 17 has been found to be prime. Then 18 check कर लिया, 19 is found to be prime. Then 20 से लेके 22 तक चेक कर लिया, कोई भी प्राइम नहीं है, but we are checking for every number. Then 23 is found to be prime. Then 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 तक चेक कर लिया, none of them was prime. 29th was found to be prime. That means the value of number to get the first 10 prime numbers, we have to check for 30 numbers, at least 29 numbers. 29 क्यों कह रहा हूँ? Because 2 से start करें and 29 numbers को हम check करें, तब जाके हमें पहले 10 prime numbers मिल गए हैं. So this is how you could have solved this particular example. Any questions if you have, please ask. आप चाहे तो इसे else डाल सकते हैं, and then you could say finish printing all prime numbers. That's all. कुछ तो मैसेज डाल सकता है. So we have been asked how many prime numbers you would like to have. मैंने कहा 5. ये print किया, बाद में कहा that's all. This statement was just for your understanding कि how many numbers have we checked. That's not really necessarily required. So how many prime numbers you would like to have? 5. The first prime, the prime number is 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. That's all. Any questions, anybody?
Instead of using int to convert it into a from a decimal number to a integer, can't we use float?
No, we cannot use float. Range doesn't allow you to have the second parameter of type float. We had looked at concept of range. What does range do? If you look at range, python.org, Python doc, range. If you look at range, start, stop, and step. क्या कहता है? Constructor must be and the arguments within constructor must be. ये 3 arguments है. एक कंपल्सरी है, स्टार्ट एंड स्टॉप स्टेप आर ऑप्शनल. क्या कहता है? इट मस्ट बी इंटीजर.
No, I'm not talking float. I'm saying floor. FLOOR.
Floor can be used.
Because
But
if any value,
no, that will
if
also not work. Let's see why it would not work. Because let's see whether floor gives you floating point value or integer. It will definitely give you a smallest value in nearest integer, but does it give what is the type of the data? That's very important. So if I say seal of 7.5, 4.5 math dot, seal of 4.5, it gave you 5, but the point is whether it's 5 is integer or float, that we have to check. In that case we'll know it. So when I got type, ये क्या type है? Int है. It will work. In that case it will work. So math dot
because if
floor will also
any
work.
square root is
Huh.
like greater than example any point greater than 0.5, so will int round it off to 1 or 0?
0.
Okay.
So floor is also giving you integer. So let's check type of this. That's also giving integer. So integer there, so that's okay. But then this is much more easy to understand what is the value that we're converted to integer rather than using floor or seal. तो अगर ये +1 अवॉइड करना है तो seal यूज करो फ्लोर की जगह. I will not recommend floor से काम नहीं चलेगा. seal यूज करो अगर करना ही है तो. Your seal will give you +1. Look at that. If I say 4.5 ka seal, it gave you 5, and that's what we want. So instead of saying int, say math dot seal. Okay, so this would be better, because if I take the square root of a number, it comes to 6 point something. So it will take you 7. That is 6 plus 1. That is 7. So range will be from 1 to 6 automatically. So say seal instead of floor. फ्लोर कहोगे तो +1 कहना होगा. सील कहोगे तो +1 का झंझट गायब, because it already gives you the next value. That means 5.7 रहेगा तो it will give 6. So that's what we really wanted to have, because 1 to 6 बोलोगे, 2 to 6 बोलोगे तो 2 to 5 का range आ जाएगा. So you better use seal instead of floor. So that's an improvement that we can bring about. So +1 का झंझट निकल जाएगा. Any other question, anybody? Have a look at this code. कहीं doubt है तो पूछिएगा. Any questions, anybody?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just save this and share with all of you. Have you all received it? Have you all received it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, take the next example and solve the same.
सर
हम्म,
अगर ऐसा किया कि जो प्राइम नंबर का रिजल्ट आ रहा है,
हम्म,
जैसे अभी यहाँ पे स्क्वायर रूट लेके यूज किया है,
हम्म,
जैसे अभी मेरा प्राइम नंबर 2 आया, मुझे
हम्म,
3 के लिए चेक करना है,
हम्म.
मैं सिर्फ जो आगे पिछले प्राइम से उसी से डिवाइड या मॉड्यूलस करूँ.
I don't know whether that will work or not. I don't know. Have you cross-checked that idea?
नो नॉट इट.
Check करो. I don't know. I don't think it will work. I don't think, but just I have not thought in that direction. सोच के देखो, दो चार examples के लिए करके देखो, does it work or not?
हाँ सर, इट विल वर्क, बट इटरेशंस ज्यादा होंगे कि कम होंगे वो देखना पड़ेगा.
कम होगा ना, obviously. Iterations कम
हाँ
होंगे, but मुझे नहीं लगता ये आइडिया काम करेगा. Iterations तो कम होंगे. तो जरा टेस्ट करके देखो आइडिया सही है क्या जो सोच रहे हो. एंड द बेस्ट वे टू टेस्ट इज रन द कोड. लिखो कोड और रन करके देखो whether you get the right answer or not. Okay. I have never thought in that fashion. आपने सोचा है, अलग सोचा है. So I will not comment on it, yes or no. We need to test it. First take some sample values, 15 के लिए, 20 के लिए, and see whether you're getting the right answer or not. This one, what we have done is a traditional way. It works correctly. What you said is something different. I doubt whether it will work, but I'm not very sure. So करके देखो. Is that the same thing that you have submitted?
नो.
No. आपने जो सबमिट किया है वो गलत है. गलत नहीं, अननेसेसरी है. ये देखिए आप कहा तो गया फॉर आई इन द रेंज ऑफ 2 to नंबर तक, नॉट नेसेसरी ना. हाफ ऑफ द नंबर विल
यस
डू इनफ.
यस यस.
तो हमने डिस्कस किया था वो नहीं चाहिए. हाफ ऑफ द नंबर से भी बेहतर है स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ द नंबर. So let's take another question and go about solving it. Right now, note down everybody. Accept. Use proper data structures for data. Accept marks of n number of students accept marks of n number of students accept marks of n number of students n number of students for 5 subjects एक मिनट डिलीट करो, वापस रिफ्रेश कर दे, विल कंस्ट्रक्ट अ स्टेटमेंट वन सेकेंड. Right on. A student appears for minimum 5 subjects in every semester. Minimum 5 subjects in every semester. Okay, minimum 5. I am very clear. I am using the word minimum 5. A student appears for minimum 5 subjects in every semester. Except name and marks. Accept name and marks of n number of students for 2 semesters and display their percentile for every semester. 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 Assuming that marks in every subject are out of 100. Assuming that marks in every subject are out of 100. Assuming that marks in every subject are out of 100. Again, we break into rooms. I give you 10 minutes to solve this example. So most of your friends have dropped out. What we'll do is I leave this meeting up to you to discuss. चलो आप सब लोग एक साथ ही discuss करो. Let's see what are the things you discuss. So meeting is open. Think about it as a room and start discussing and solving. You have permission to share the screen. Anybody almost. And moving out, so you can check it. Do it, chalo, everybody. अरे क्या हुआ, सो गए क्या? नो डिस्कशन, नथिंग. ऐसे कैसे चलेगा? इज द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट दैट डिफिकल्ट? अगर डिफिकल्ट है तो भी डिस्कस करना है, आसान है तो भी डिस्कस करना है. आइडियाज लो, पेपर पे डालो और शुरू करो.
तो फर्स्ट हम लोग व्हाइल लूप यूज करके 5 सब्जेक्ट्स के मार्क्स इनपुट लेंगे और एक वेरिएबल लेते हैं जिसमें नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स लेंगे.
minimum 5 subjects in every semester. Minimum subjects ऐसा भी लेना पड़ेगा ना लिमिट.
हाँ
is right or not. The important thing is you coming with an idea and making an attempt to execute that idea. ऐसे ही चुप बैठ के कैसे चलेगा? गलत हो सकता है, सही हो सकता है, but you should think, talk, discuss. कुछ तो करना चाहिए. Independently अगर आप करने वाले हो, हर एक जन अपना अपना solution, तो you will not be in a position to work in a team. However smart you may be, इंडस्ट्री में जाने पर टीम में ही काम करना है. टीम के लोगों को साथ लेके नहीं चलोगे तो कैसे चलेगा?
let me share my screen. Is my screen visible? So, I have taken the minimum subjects as 5 and maximum subjects as 6. Now I'm taking the input for number of students and taking the input counter, marks counter for each subjects for every student. So the idea is I'm going to use two while loop. So inside one while loop, I'm going to check for the counter for students, and in the nested while loop, I'll going to sorry. Hello.
Yes.
So in the first while loop, I'm going to take the counter for the students, and in the nested while loop, I'm going to take the marks counter.
But it wasn't specified that the max subjects is 6. Question says that minimum is 5, maximum was not defined.
In that case, we can take the input from the user.
So then can't we just directly take number of subjects as the input?
Okay.
But then we need to check na ki at least uh, total at least 5 subjects marks entered. Minimum five
We are going to
subjects.
validate if the number of subjects is less than 5 or equals to 5. If it is less than 5, we are going to say that please enter number of subjects that is greater than 5 or equal to 5.
Okay.
We can use minimum sub na instead of 5.
Sorry? Yeah.
Also is digit. Line number 12.
Sorry?
Is digit.
Thanks. Is it good now? So these three things are validated.
Read the question carefully. Yeah? The question says the student appears for minimum five subjects. You cannot a student. That does not mean all students will appear for 5 subjects or 6 subjects. So if there are 10 students may appear for 10 different number of subjects. Minimum is 5. The first student may appear for 5 subjects, next may appear for 6 subjects, another may be appearing for 7 subjects. That too in every semester they may be appearing for different number of subjects. पहले सेमेस्टर में 5 सब्जेक्ट्स अपीयर कर लिए, 2 फेल हो गया, तो नेक्स्ट सेमेस्टर में वही में अपीयर फॉर 7 सब्जेक्ट, पहले सब्जेक्ट के दूसरे सेमेस्टर के 5, पहले सब्जेक्ट के 2.
So minimum is 5, no sir?
Correct, minimum is 5. But point is, for every semester, for every subject, for every student, the number of subjects may vary, na? Here you are line number 10, you are assuming that all students are going to appear for fixed number of subjects. When you ask, please enter the number of subjects, I say 7, suppose. Does that mean all students will appear for 7 subjects?
No.
So these are practical problems for which we develop solutions. So statements that should appear inside the loop, you are ending up writing outside the loop. So you'll have to keep a track कि पहला students पहले semester में कितने subject appear कर रहा है, दूसरे semester में कितने appear कर रहा है. So every student is appearing for 2 semesters, and in every semester he may appear for different number of subjects.
Right.
And even when we are, he may be appearing for different number of subjects. First we are going to accept the marks, and then later we are going to display their percentile. So we should always be aware कि कौन सा student कितने subjects में appear कर गया है, that we should be aware. And that's very easy to keep a track. What I'm saying is it's very easy to keep a track. Plus उसका नाम भी accept करना है. This question कहता है accept name and marks.
So I'll use it inside this while loop, no?
No,
First I'll take
I'm
number
just
of
giving, I'm just telling you.
Okay.
वो आपको को करना है. I'm just telling you. But these are like practical problems that we come across with. Factor find karna, prime number find karna, that's okay. Now this will put a challenge to you so that all the data structures that we are used, you will have to make use of right data structure at right place.
Right.
And flexibility भी चाहिए.
आपण इथे डिक्शनरी यूज करू शकतो का की आणि व्हॅल्यू म्हणजे नाव आणि त्याचे मार्क्स नाही कसं
I'm not answering any question. I'm just telling you things. वो आप लोगों को बैठ के डिसाइड करना है. But the first important thing is discuss करो question. फिर क्या करना है डिस्कस करेंगे. Understand whether we all have understood the problem statement. बिना प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट के नाउ बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट यू आर अबाउट टू डू, वो तो सॉल्यूशन इनकम्प्लीट ही होता. इफ नॉट रॉन्ग इनकम्प्लीट तो जरूर होता. तो क्वेश्चन 4 बार पढ़िएगा. डिस्कस द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट फर्स्ट, देन डिसाइड कि हमें क्या करना है. फिर बाद में सोचा जाएगा कैसे करना है. कैसे करने के लिए यू कैन हायर 10 डिफरेंट डेवलपर्स who may not be in a position to think. They are only coders. तो कोडिंग करने वाले बहुत जन मिलते हैं. थिंकिंग करने वाले लोग चाहिए मुझे. So read the problem statement. That's the reason I rephrase the entire problem statement. So read it properly, then decide what is to be done, then go ahead solving it. Actually, did you test that solution? Does it work?
Yes, sir.
It works?
Yes, it works.
Okay, I'll check. अभी इस पे फोकस करो, ये जो प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट दिया है. Ashish, it fails.
सर वो वैलिडेशन नहीं किए पर मैं
नहीं
वो
नहीं,
बोल रहा
वैल्यूएशन की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, वैल्यूएशन की बात नहीं कर रहा
था।
हूँ.
Okay.
आई एम जस्ट टेस्टिंग. It is correctly giving 20 prime numbers, but not exactly the 20th prime number. It is skipping on some numbers. Let me just check.
शांतूने आपला नेम पण ऍक्सेप्ट करावं लागेल ना.
All right.
The previous example that we are solving for prime numbers, that seal doesn't work. Int ही करना पड़ रहा है. And Ashish has submitted a fantastic solution. I would advise all of you to go through it and make an attempt to understand what has he done. So I'm sharing both the updated solutions. I have made some cosmetic changes in what he had submitted. It's a fantastic one. It works, Ashish. At least right now, I couldn't identify any situation where it doesn't work. So both the solutions are for your reference. The one which we discussed are the one which Ashish has submitted. That's far more better in terms of number of iterations. It will work very fast. That's what I feel at the first glance.
Can anyone help here?
साथ होने का फायदा क्या है? डिस्कशन. और वो अगर डिस्कशन नहीं करेंगे तो साथ होने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं है. He's asking for help. हाँ ना कुछ तो बोलो. यार तूने जो लिखा है समझ में नहीं आया. Why are you writing that? What are you trying to do? बातें करो ना. He's asking for help. Now this is a compulsory assignment. I want all of you to come up with the solution for this assignment. It's 10:15. If you want, you can continue. Otherwise, we stop over here right now. But tomorrow, everybody should come with their solution, right or wrong, doesn't matter. But I want you all to show me the solution for it. क्या आप कंटिन्यू करें या स्टॉप करें?
तो थोड़ा सोच के करना पड़ेगा, इसको थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा.
ठीक है. Do it. And कल आते समय everybody should come with a solution for it. Bye bye.